Perseverance, the continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failure, or opposition. Similarly, in my family, hi Mom and Dad, we have a saying that life is about the steadfast pursuit of noble objectives. And anyone who knows me knows that I love theater more than life, and that is my noble objective. It informs every aspect of my life. You go big or go home. Now, I believe that perseverance is a useful skill to have in any profession, but I have found that it is particularly necessary in the world of the arts, because rejection is in the job description and disappointment is a common side effect. It is not nearly as frivolous as it can sometimes seem, and perseverance is required in order to succeed at it. And my understanding of perseverance began in 1999 when I was 9 years old. My dad bet me that I couldn't learn these 10 songs on the piano in one summer. I had a contentious relationship with the piano because I hated practicing, but my incentive was very high because if I won, my dad would take me to see my first 2 Broadway shows. So I persevered through the summer and won the bet and decided that theater in New York was my noble objective. But here I am at my high school where I rarely showed up for class, but always showed up for theater and choir. It was really the only way my parents could get me to show up for school at all. I knew what I wanted to do. I'd known since I was 9, so why waste my time doing anything else? And I'm not exactly how or why, but I was accepted to my first choice college of Elon University, which had an excellent theater program that I did not get into. And that audition and resulting rejection were the first times that I ever felt betrayed by my art. I was 19 and I hated myself for not being good enough. It was the first time anxiety entered my world and I dropped out of school and decided college was for the birds. I didn't need it to be an actor. I didn't lose my passion for theater due to my experience at Elon. If anything, I became more resolute in the pursuit of my objective. So after living at home again and getting a lot of therapy, I decided to reapply to a conservatory in New York City, the American Musical and Dramatic Academy, and moved to New York for the first time when I was 19. That's my first headshot. So after graduation, the curriculum at AMDA was intense. I was finally doing what I loved, but I quickly realized that theater is hard work, not only physically, but also emotionally and mentally. And stereotypical ideas about theater schools hold true, that teachers are harsh and you have to learn how to take criticism gracefully. But AMDA made me an actor, and I loved it, but it wore me out. So after graduation, I moved to Charleston and started auditioning and utilizing all of my shiny new skills from New York. My first show was South Pacific at the Dock Street Theater. It was magical. That show is magical. That place is magical since it's built on the site of the first theater in the country. And that show meant a lot to everyone involved, and it made me feel like I was in the right place at the right time. But I went to all of the auditions. I was relentless. I made sure people knew who I was. I offered my time. I helped build sets. I read plays and books about theater. I did research. Auditions became like my training ground, where even the ones that didn't result in jobs taught me something that would improve to the next one. And eventually this work started to pay off. Since moving to Charleston in 2012, I have performed in 30 full-length productions, everything from children's theater to Chekhov, thank you, Shakespeare, French farce, restoration comedy, modern dramas. My resume is poppin'. Each show taught me more about theater, about history, and about my craft. And each show, even the failures, made me better. And the show that taught me the biggest lesson was Marie Antoinette. Loved it. After opening night, the show was destroyed by a local newspaper, and I was heartbroken. But I had to go out on stage and do the damn thing night after night, and the show must go on, but let me tell you, it was so hard, and every fiber of my being resisted, but we did it, and it remains one of the best things I've ever done in my life. But after Marie Antoinette, I was signed by a film and TV agent who taught me the true meaning of rejection, filming literally hundreds of auditions and never booking a thing. And any normal, sane person would throw in the towel. I have not. It's like Edison and his friggin' light bulb. You know, every failure gets you closer. But at this point, I began to lose steam. I had craved improvement. I craved growth. I needed to do something drastic. And so after speaking with friends in the community who had taught at the College of Charleston, I applied to the College of Charleston. Not one of my AMDA credits would transfer. I had to do the full 4 years, Elon echoing in the back of my head, don't fail again. And going back to school in your mid-20s after 4 years of working and playing in Charleston is weird, and I highly recommend it. I had a reason for being in school, and I was voracious. I began to branch out in terms of my theatrical interests, and in the process proved to myself that I was capable of so much more than I had ever given myself credit for. I worked 2 jobs, went to school, and in the evenings headed to the theater. I was invited to join the Village Rep Ensemble at my theatrical home, Wolf Street Playhouse. Woo! After performing in Cyrano my sophomore year, my 5th show with the company, And being in college while still performing in the community provided me with the comfort of knowing what I was doing was what I needed to be doing in an environment that supported my passion. And I started out as just a theater major, but quickly added a history major and an Italian minor. I was able to explore any avenue of interest and connect it all back to theater. I often felt like my courses interacted and spoke to each other. I became fascinated by avant-garde theater and clown, the Italian Renaissance, theater, commedia dell'arte, and continued to perform in the community. And in the spring of 2018, I performed in back-to-back shows, Company and Into the Woods, written by my favorite composer, Stephen Sondheim. Woo! Steve. His work has taught me about life, love, and art. His work is also difficult and emotionally draining. I remember actually passing out from exhaustion in Into the Woods rehearsal, but his work continues to inspire me, and I don't think it will ever cease to. Sondheim is like my Energizer bunny. But if I had not chosen to steadfastly pursue my objective of working in theater, I don't think my other passions could have flourished the way they have. And I continue to study Italian and history. I read a lot of plays, a lot of Shakespeare. I love fashion, art, music. I love to write. And I've been equipped with all the tools I need to succeed. So now it's just a question of where and how. And I graduated from the College of Charleston with honors a month ago and took my thanks, and took my last Charleston bows at Wolf Street Playhouse the following week. It was a rough week, but with those milestones came excitement for the future and the possibilities that await there, rather than allowing the past to hold me back and my failures to stop me. And Charleston has provided me with more opportunities than I could have ever hoped for. And now, at 29 years old, as I venture back to the city of my dreams, I can reflect peacefully on the lessons I've learned here and how, despite all of the difficulties and failures I have encountered, I am still pursuing my noble objective and got to do it in the most beautiful city imaginable. I persevered, and I hope this will inspire you to do the same. Thank you.